do we need? Bang! Nice! Bang! Yes! Bang!
That is what they need indeed. Team Heretics, they came to play. What a dominant start of their day. I'm your host, Yinsu, and I'm back here with Kaquka. That was so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think that that has to be the most dominant win that we have seen so far this year, at least here in EMEA. That was surprising. We had a lot of questions. How is Wood going to be playing with the rest now that he's feeling it? Padded shoes with such little time actually to prepare just himself, and it was flawless, I'd say.
Honestly, I felt kind of iconic that he was team flashing a little bit. I feel like if you don't team flash, you're not doing your job right. But the assists was crazy. He had so many.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the KO knife, like it gives you a little bit of a free ones, but also it's that kind of edge that it was given them to perform like this. And I think this round's number 11 sums up everything that we saw during the first half. As Tom was mentioning, Team Heretics was not discovering the wheel. They were doing exactly what they have been doing in the past. And Team Liquid, even though time after time they were trying to shut them down, not even with 4 players defending on A, they could do a micro that could actually stop what Team Heretics had planned for this Sunset.
I feel like this round just summed up the entire game. All you have to do is watch this round. I mean, they won 2 pistols, 9 first kills, 9 first kill conversion, 10 plant conversion as well.
Yeah.
I feel like, Kaquka, if you're having a day like this, there's very, very little you can do against that as Liquid.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And the homework was also pretty easy for Liquid. Like, number 1 has to be shut down Miniboo, right? You shut him down, you do not allow him to get comfortable, and then the rest will slowly but surely crumble. But they attempted, but they didn't manage to do it with the change of composition.
Yeah, Bind will be up next, but first we got Miniboo here in the AIM Labs warm-up as well. Of course, Heretics, they picked Sunset. We knew they were going to do well there, but what about Bind? How is Miniboo going to do on Bind, do you think?
It might be a surprise. Maybe we know the Team Liquid changed the composition for Sunset in preparation for today. Okay, it didn't work, it didn't go very well, but maybe Team Heretics is also willing to change something. In my opinion, maybe they shouldn't. I think that Wood's being so confident and so comfortable also on that KO for that first showing is going to give them exactly what they need. I mean, the kid can shoot. What can you do?
I still think we're going to get a map 3. I really do. As I said with my fun fact, Heretics, they always win their map pick. And Liquid seems to always be winning their map pick as well. And also, it feels like last map was one of those maps you can just mentally go, GG, go next. Didn't work out, but let's try and get them back on Bind.
I think that especially for Liquid this year, there had been a lot of those situations. Remember that at the same time, this is a team that is just recovering right now from a 13-2. They also were in the losing end. Yeah, exactly. Like they lost a 10-2 lead. So sometimes things just do not work out for Team Liquid. That doesn't mean that they are out and dusted. I think that they can do so much in this Bind, that they can adapt. But that's the other part of it. Are they going to adapt into the Euro Astra? What is going to be their approach shutting down Team Heretics, if Team Heretics can even be expected to be the same?
This is the thing, teams have felt like they've been really comfortable changing things from week to week.
Yeah.
Did you like the Gecko? Did you feel like maybe it didn't work out?
I get the intention. To me, I think that also the last round was a prime example of a team being confident and comfortable with a composition. The way the Team Heretics was able to regain all that space onto mid means that they were comfortable. Team Liquid, on the other hand, not so much.
Well, the Gecko is great pick here. It makes a lot more sense that they're going to play Harbor Viper.
Yeah, Harbor Viper. I mean, double controller, it is just a little bit different. Yambi's also going to be moving on to that KO, and Woods, instead of playing on the KO, he's going to go for the Sky. So of course I think there's going to be differences. Boo is decided on the Omen, so no Astra to be seen. The Euro is going to be a very, very important part. But Team Liquid starting on the attack, mistake. We saw a couple of missteps when it came to Bind. For this attack, he has to be crucial. He has to be helping Enzo a lot, and I think that also Nats has to be very, very mindful of his utility.
Are we sure this is a Bind? Agent select Kaquka, this is very off meta.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that especially the things that we've learned from Na'Vi, especially on this map with the Gecko KO, the amount of utility that you have to swamp onto side has to give Team Liquid the same comfort that Team Heretics was able to find on Sunset with such a dominant first half.
Yeah, they get to start on defense this time around as well for Heretics, which feels like might be okay for Liquid.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that they have to take it one step at a time. Team Heretics probably, once they're seeing this composition, they might interpret that something has changed, that they have to adapt on the fly. But just based also on the fact that they changed the composition and more so adapted it to Wood being here, I think that they also come with a plane of their own. And now mentally, the ones that have to recover are Liquid. They are the ones that are going to come with a new plan, with a new composition, and everything has to fall into place if they want to even take this to a map number 3.
I mean, we questioned some of that potential synergy differences with Butch coming in. I'd love to see what they have cooked up with that Yoru Sky double flash combination, especially considering they got about 5 million wars that they have to flash past as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be very interesting also how he measures the utility and when to use it, right? Because with the KO knife, it's not the same. I think that at some point they're going to regret not having the KO in this specific occasion, because with so much important utility on the hands of Liquid, it could be such an important part, right? Of the possibility of them going into the game and then being like, well, maybe, just maybe we shouldn't swap this one thing because this other agent would have given us so much more versatility and impact onto the round.
I mean, you said about how Liquid probably changed their Sunset comp as a direct counter to what Heretics like to do. What about these changes here? Why do you think they made the Viper Harbor?
I think that they're understanding that the game is a bit different to what it used to be, that they need to adapt on the fly and they need to show strength, right? Team Liquid is not a team full of new players, new faces that we're seeing incoming on the tier 1. No, this team has things to prove. They cannot just be average. They need to be trendsetters. They need to be recognizable for their playstyle. They need to leave a mark wherever they go. And so far, they have not been achieving that. So maybe trying to get these compositions and a new look onto things, try and pick up here and there what works from other teams might help them get the edge.
Well, on Sunset, it didn't work out that well, but let's see what they got cooking up on Bind. Mitch and Tom, what do you make of this?
Well, I'm very excited to see this. It's been a while since Wood. We mentioned all the agents that he plays. It's been like 10 months since we got to see a Sky out of him and testing his support ability. Well, after that last map on the KO, it's easy to do that with the ults. Here on the Sky, I'm excited, Tom. This could be really good with the double flashes on Mini Boot.
Yeah, the thing is, I do agree with you. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what Heretics will do, but I'm actually just more worried for Liquid. Yeah. Like, I think that's a more important thing, because I think Heretics, even in the last map, I don't think they had to play even close to their skill ceiling to beat Liquid. So I'm now looking at Liquid and going, are you going to turn up today? Like, are we going to see Kiko hopefully play much better on the Raze? I think it's a more comfortable pick for him, but it looks like they're going to be challenged almost immediately, as already it will be the force back as Heretics have to fall back.
A little bit of map control fought for Mystic on the Harbor. Didn't have a great debut here, but we've heard a lot of good things about it in scrims and in compositions. This is a tactic they've practiced. Enzo's been isolated with the spike. The rest of the team had teleported, and the man left behind had the most important piece of the puzzle. Now Liquid have to go to the other side of the map, and it's quite a trek all the way over here. Liquid? And, well, they have to fight B-Long against pretty much the entirety of Heretics. Not ideal, Tom, to start with.
I would say as far from ideal as you could probably get.
Suboptimal.
Yeah. This is not going to be easy for them to retrieve. And I think they're almost going to have to win the round before they get that spike back.
Yeah, probably. And I think they've made the right call here as well, splitting in towards Hookah so they can at least dive out and Team Liquid can crunch these players on long, but this is something Heretics are aware of. They're not silly. Rienz is left behind to watch this, and so a bit of a challenge for him. Already, though, they've caught the player up in the air. Looks like Kiko will hold on to life, but the rest of Team Liquid are the ones that are falling before Kiko gets isolated. And sure, they've got the spike back, and they can run it over to A. But look, Tom, with 4 players alive, they've already got someone waiting. Benji, just around the corner with 14 seconds left. That should be the round cemented. In fact, if Mystic won this one, we would have to take him off the stage.
Yeah, he would need some pretty impressive mechanics / gaming chat to be able to pull that one off. But no, it's going to be another 3K for Wu in a pistol, and that is a pistol round that I'm almost certain Liquid will want to forget. And as I said, like that's the worry I have. It's not even down to whether or not Heretics are going to play to like the best of their ability, or whether Woot is going to be good enough. Like it's literally after that first map,
Nice.
Liquid going to show up, because that's again just another catastrophic error within 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, I think for my mental health, I was coming in saying, you know what, Team Liquid will just bounce out playing the normal game. That was a hiccup. They made some adjustments to counter Heretics that didn't work out, that we couldn't really see the idea behind on the desk. And well, yeah, you couldn't see the execution behind it either. Now, they come into a map that they're ready for, comps they're ready for, and they should be on their 2 feet stably. Well, that was about as unstable of a start to a map as you can see with the spike drop. Now, they've got pistols to try and make this work up against the big guns. And then round 3, that's where we get back into the real meat and potatoes of the game. For Liquid, they've done well to isolate some close range angles, but again, the problem is Team Heretics have won every duel that they've gone for, looking into the previous map, and they're not taking these fights alone.
Yeah, they've been good in these scenarios.
Scanning ahead.
Trading effectively, not taking too many very risky fights. And while, for now at least, it's just going to be down to Mystic. Even a kill here would be nice. Just try and do some form of damage. And well, he is going to be able to take out 2. Very nicely done. On to just 4 HP, so you have to think that's all she wrote. All right, Boo, they're just predicting exactly where he's going to go. But honestly, in a 1v5, he's done well there.
Yeah, I mean, he did well, sure. But we need so much more for Team Liquid before we can start writing home about them. This is a round that carries a lot of weight with it, Tom, because the snowball of the previous map starts to come into play. If this was map 1, do I expect to see Spike isolated, that kind of chaos on B-Long? Well, no, I don't expect to see that anytime, to be honest. But you can understand, after such a devastating beginning, things can be shaky. And Team Liquid need to get right back on that horse here and now. As we said, rifles coming through, but Team Heretics have some ideas of early aggression. 3 players off B, long, fast flashes. They compete for this orb, and Boo grabs 1 for free on Kiko. After all those spams coming in, a lot of the damage is going to be healed back up by Woot. And no surprise to anyone, it's another very successful early round for Team Heretics.
Yeah, similar to the last map. They've got that opener, and now it has to be Liquid trying to fight back. Now, at least they do still have some weaponry advantages. Benji is left with just a pistol to play with. Guardians, Bulldogs, it's still slightly favored, but with personnel on the other side. Miniboo also now has his ultimate as well, so he could use that just to try and get some extra information. And that walk, look how many players already here. This is very telegraphed. That information is going to be grasped as they spot pretty much every single player. It's only the lurk on the other side that could cause them problems. And they've already managed to deny that plant. It's going to have to be a fight back in. And Miniboo actually still got one there.
I don't know how, coming out of his ult that quickly. They know there's 2 players towards mid. They're not sure about that, though. That could be the element of surprise for Nats, as he's already dropped Benji Fishy, and that space to plant the spike finally achieved. That wave wall disappearing. And now the Reckoning comes into play. It's barely even needed, though. Woot's pulsing body is all that it gives away, as he'd already been dropped. A clean way back through for Team Liquid. Even after losing the opening pick, that's more of what we wanted to see.
Yeah, I think a better mid-round from them. Just being able to adapt on the fly. The timing of them pushing the smokes was pretty good as well to be able to take some of those fights, but it is the first round on a road to many. And even then, there still looked like there were moments where that could have easily slipped in the other direction. Of course, for Heretics, still going to be coming in with the purchase here. By the looks of it, we might even get an attack side outlaw. I wonder if the attempt here is going to be to fight B long. It does look like that's where Enzo is starting, just because that has been a real pressure point already, and we're just heading into round 4.
Well, the default spread by Team Liquid almost got exploited. I see Miniboo walking down back. He made a couple of steps as well, and Nats actually heard them, so he's gone back. This is delaying the attack slightly, but they're just looking for opportunities. That wall that's up towards A meant to rob them of info, but Team Heretics are grouping up on it right now. 3 players around that spot. Contemplating the TP crunch that's now come through. Kiko down and out, and the immediate gate crash means that Miniboo's ready to fight on A, so they kind of quicken the pace to take advantage of those teleported players and even dropping Benji. Now they might think the site is clear, or at least much lighter in defense. Miniboo's opportunity to strike once that wave wall goes down again.
Spike planted.
But there's a few seconds left on it, and he's just tucking away, keeping the space.
I think with an advantage already held, didn't really need to aggress, but it has gone down. Levels things for Liquid. looking like another scenario where Heretics could just work off their advantages, but that fight has given things back into a winnable occasion. And very passive holds as well. It does make it a little bit easier, though, for them to isolate one of these fights. The spam isn't really going to be the bigger problem for Heretics here. It's mainly those afterplants in terms of utility, and there's still snake bites to go. Nats, though, is left all on his lonesome, and he's just sticking that defuse all the way. He's managed to just get it while it was going on. It looked like it was going to be a round for Liquid, but instead it's gone the other way.
Well, even in the rounds that seem set up for victory, Tom, it can always fall apart, and that snake bite not chipping away enough damage, the wide angle on the defuse. This was beautiful, not just the play through the teleporter, but the team keep back, and they didn't get the reward for it. Very nicely punished by Mystic, but in the end, it comes down to these duels that leave Nats in such an awkward position to try to get that done.
It's so close.
You can see, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get a timer on that one, but it was incredibly close. Even if he fired the second he saw him. 3-1. Yeah. Round 5 sees pistols, or a pistol in the hands of Enzo, but they're still able to muster some rifles across the board. Heretics have some weaknesses, so to speak, but sometimes those are strengths on a map like this. The judge on Benji Fishy in particular.
Especially with him being able to potentially get a kill and just fall back. You have to hope there's going to be something sent in. They just got to try and walk this. It's not going to be easy for him to get away with anything. In fact, it's okay, an interesting spike position. It's got caught in the wall. They should be able to retrieve it.
Floating in the air. Well, luckily no longer. It's come back down to earth. Spike retrieved, but damage done to Mystic will linger later on into the round, and the drone coming through spots them. Good information to play with. Seekers doubling up to cement the positions of these players in case that drone didn't see them. And gate crash from Miniboo sent out towards the A site. He can play up into heaven later on, and that is a big benefit for this squad, being able to hunker down on the site they expect the take to come in and then rotate later. And the push, as we can see, is on its way. The Mosh on site will force them into some awkward positions. Woot has to swing wide, but still free from this position, single-handedly stopping the push of Liquid. And with 30 health left on Mystic, I don't think he's going for this one.
It's the Turkish aim. He is the truth. He is the promised. Like, the one this man is able to do. We just said it at the beginning of the game. Like, in terms of raw ability, he's the player from the tier 2 that everyone wanted, and it's just headshot after headshot for Woot. Absolute filth on his first day of the stage, and he's 9-2.
This is the thing, Tom. Well, what was Liquid's idea here? Okay, mosh pit over the top. It lands on site. You know the player inside has to peek you. If anything, if we had their comms, I think that's the call. He has to peek. He has to peek. Sure, he does, but he ain't gonna lose those fights. Absolutely gorgeous. And a special shout out to Rienz as well, combining beautifully with the recon to give that extra information. No doubt that helped out in the third kill that we saw. The fourth, sheer ridiculous confidence out of Woot. 9-2 debuting. And Tom, one of the things that we said was on this stage, nerves can kick in. And for players like Woot, he's in the danger zone. It turns out it was Team Liquid that were riding in that danger zone all along, because they've not been doing well. And a timeout called already. Remember, they burnt theirs up early in the last map, and there wasn't a lot to say about them.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, again, you have to go back to people who might not have seen Woot before. You're going to very quickly realize why every sort of analyst, every sort of commentator is sat there going, nah, just wait. Just wait. Like, the Turkish broadcasts have been saying it for ages. They've been watching this kid just light up. And the thing is, it was sad for Ascension last year because Fireflux were the team that everybody was waiting for. Like, they had players like Yedajay, who we're now seeing thrive in foot as well. Like, it was a really solid team. Unfortunately, it just didn't make it through the sort of strength of what was Turkey, even if the expectation was there. But it's so good to see him on this stage, and it's so good to see exactly what he could do. Crisp headshots to give them that round, and now, wow. They said last round they managed to at least get a buy on the board. Liquid are in much more trouble this time out. Sure, they have an ult or two, but they've already tanked the shock dart. I think Kiko's almost dead. He's not even seen anyone.
Yeah.
So's Yumpy.
He was bitten by a few things, not just the shock dart, but even the Trailblazer comes up after. So all the information is there to play with. Team Heretics have a problem brewing, and the players are going to the other side. Nats is dead. Yeah, no way out. It was only him that was spotted, and the drone was super close inside the smoke, so there could be other players there, but we see the gate crash again up top. It's on its way over towards the B site. This is going to represent an early rotation potentially for the side of Heretics. They've spotted players, so Miniboo immediately comes in to help. And for Liquid, no matter where they go, they'll be running into the brute force of Heretics with pistols in hand, with low HP on Kiko and Yumpy. It seems to be a formality. They will need a miracle to make this one worth. But they could make it costly. The TP to A, well, Tom, the hope here is that they've rotated. And we can see quite plainly that Rienz alongside Benji Fishy are in position.
Yeah, they might not even expect Rienz, because the thing is Benji is firing snake bites just immediately, almost making them assume that there might not be anybody here. They're going to hear the flash go off. They're just running to their death at this stage. Again, any kills they can get would be nice. And well, the ace has been stolen away from Benji right at the end. It would have been a nice way to close out Eco round. And Andaluthia flawless, but the main thing for them, excusing who got the kills, is the fact that they're just going to keep their finances off the chart.
That's it. As we said, damage was a question, but one we didn't expect a favorable answer to come through from Team Liquid. That shock dart did a lot. But at the end of the day, just clean setup. Rienz needed to do barely anything with how quick Benji was on those flicks. The only player that survived his wrath was the one hiding behind a wall. 5-1. Round 7 sees ultimates for Team Liquid. Viper's Pit, Thrash, Showstopper online. That's a lot to work with on the attack, and somehow Miniboo picks up the opening again. In comes the Showstopper. Will it find value to one blast pack left? There's a player in its sights, and Boo goes down.
Yeah, again, leveling things up. Ultimates are in a pretty decent spot for Liquid here. Could use that Viper's Pit, then get into the post bar. Instead, though, Nat's actually the furthest back. So it doesn't look like that ult's going to come into play. He's going to be able to avoid this drone, though. Rienz goes down. A huge pick that makes this much more awkward. It seems like they're also waiting for the secondary flank. Timing, though, is going to be everything. If Mystic turns around, he's got a huge opportunity here. So many players just waiting. He's immediately going to take one down, but they're there to trade. Unfortunately, goes for the high HP player. Wanted to get rid of that Thrash. Even still, though, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because Will is just making his name heard.
Well, another little fake out from Team Heretics. Last time we thought Rienz was going to be the big player, and it was Benji. This time, Benji gets a flank on 4, picks up 1 kill, and it's looking like there's a chance for Team Liquid after this disastrous flank. This guy is ridiculous. Even gets blinded at the end. Miniboo desperately trying to get himself a kill, but you can't stop Woot. He's 12-2. And for Team Liquid, call a pause if you want. I don't know what you say about that.
Oh, you might be looking at one of the best ever debuts at the VCT. Like, it truly is just ridiculous. You can see it on Benji's face. I think in his mind, he was probably like, I might have just lost us that round because I didn't get as much as I could have. He got Woot. It genuinely doesn't matter.
You did good.
Odin on the attack side, it's something that not many will try, but Enzo always will. And at this point, you know, everything else hasn't been working, so you might as well give it a go.
Desperate times, Tom. Desperate times, and we're definitely seeing desperate measures. The tag up even onto Enzo. The Odin makes it a bit easy. No way to follow up on it, but they know there's players here. Obviously, with the Viper's Pit down, you're expecting it. There's at least 2 in bat. That's the info they have to work with. 59 seconds on the clock. Mid, pitted off by Team Heretics. Benji has that control, but they don't have the info. That's what Miniboo has got a mask in front of him for. The other dimension calling to him as he'll now go through and clear this pit. 1 spotted, 2, and he's body blocked, but he'll see 3 eventually. The shoot me comes in, but Rien's got to be careful of the decay. Be back out, and this is them cemented in their positions. Now that gate crash going into spawn has been spotted. In fact, you even have Kiko going back to spot it and kill Miniboo when he attempts it. It was a ballsy play, but one that hasn't paid off. They've got 1 less player on the site, and Rienz is 1 HP. He is decayed down and taken easily. Oh, that's an awkward spray, and Benji, he's a genius.
For 1.
For 1. He almost got more. I mean, he heard the second player.
Yeah,
I don't know how he suspected it, but then he turns and gets shot in the face. It's, you know, it is what it is.
Well, it looks like this one's going a little bit better for Liquid, being able to isolate some of these players. Woot is feeling confident enough to put the Seekers in. He's going to take down Mystic. This should be an impossible round, and thankfully Nats is going to make sure of it. Doesn't allow anything more. You can see how confident this guy is at the moment, and the Odin spraying through is going to put Liquid with a 2nd round on the board. They committed quite a lot to this one, but it was worth it just to get that over the line.
Well, that's it, yeah, to double up the rounds at the end of the day, Tom. You've got that Odin still in play. That's maybe one of the concerns. You got Miniboo flanked, spotted, and taken down, which is always good to see. The fact that they're able to bypass Benji because he's focused on the site, 2 players coming up behind. But the Odin here, really, this is for spamming. This is for post-plant, for playing through the pit when everybody's on 1
and
HP.
100% of his kills are with Odins. That's exactly what you want, Mitch.
Well, this is it. If anything, this is proof that the Vandal shouldn't be played anymore. Get the Phantom out of the game. This is the only one that you need.
Yeah, if you want to go 1 and 7,
use a Phantom. You go 0 and 7. There you go.
Well, they're back on the board again. They've still got that Odin in play. Operator up for Miniboo. Of course, he's going to have the ability to rotate very quickly back over to the other side of the map, although his TP has just faded outside the A site. You can see this execute being built in. And the late lurk of Nats, it could be problematic. No, he's going to win that fight. Maybe Miniboo facing back. That will be 1. And this time now they're starting to shut down these individual plays. Woot tries to make a play through the smoke on his own. And because of that, this round is already over.
Yeah. Heretics have made the call. They're bailing back from the site. A very quick play from the side of Team Liquid. And one that they don't run into any hitches on. Woot and Miniboo, the 2 big dangers, dropped immediately. And Tom, that's not one that we've seen to be a repeatable strategy so far from Team Liquid. They got this in a couple rounds, literally 2 on Sunset. And any of the rounds where they picked off Miniboo, it was an immediate loss handed to them in return.
It also seems like the last few rounds, Woot has gone for God plays in every single round. He's succeeded twice, he's now failed twice. I think Liquid are starting to get aware, like, okay, we just have to watch the smokes, we have to be ready. And they're starting to adapt to some of the risks that are being taken. Even still, though, looking like they should keep 3 weapons alive. Yumpy almost managing to take out Rians, but it isn't to be. And by the looks of it, we might be getting ourselves a pause here for the side of Heretics. I think maybe just not wanting to allow this one to get too far out of control.
I think it's the right call. Steady the ship in these moments. Liquid are starting to creep up a bit. They've already bested their score on the last map. And it's early days, no pistol under their belt either. It's a more competitive one for sure. But with a player like Woot sitting 13 and 4, Miniboo yet to be really activated, and Benji already showing that he's not just scary on a Cypher, an agent that we almost saw the entire comp of Liquid trained to beat on the previous map. Not efficiently, but they didn't get to really have their attack side get started either. But this pause in Heretics, like I say, steady the ship, get them back on track. And I guess refine any of those future, because a lot of the early plays have been grabbing information and going for the flanks, getting players behind them, threading the needle. Benji managing to sneak his way all the way down B. And there's a question at this point, coming into the last 3 rounds, do you want to keep up those risks and potentially give away picks? Because remember, that kind of aggression did end up getting punished with Miniboo trying to make it into their spawn on the gate crash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Seems like Team Liquid are a little bit more on their toes now.
Yeah, as I said, even in the last round, you see Woot try and make a very early play to catch them as they get into the site rather than waiting for the retake. So it might just be a moment where, like, the coach, NeoZenio, is just seeing a few players getting a bit ahead of themselves. You go, okay, let's calm it down. We're in the lead, but we don't want to allow Liquid back into the game because they could definitely turn it. They can definitely turn it back on. It's been a very slow start for them, especially on map 1. But they've definitely got the caliber of players, things can change.
Keep that defensive side set up on B. Yoru's got a clone inside hookah and a TP. Deep flashing as well for information. And the idea here, you fake them out with the decoy, TP in, maybe on the back of double flashes, and that is your control to take. Team Liquid won't be walking into that setup though. They've gone towards the A site. Maybe we'll see that in one of the future rounds on hookah. For now, it's a straight spam through the smoke, taking down Enzo, and leaving them without that Gecko utility for later on. As well as that, the spike will not be planted, the denial coming through as the little guy is now out of the round.
Yeah, the problem is as well, Benji has managed to reclaim Shower's control, so that's something that's going to be fought for. It's whether or not Nats actually predicts him, and that late round could be denied completely. Obviously, you want to have any utility available, although Nats doesn't have much to play with. Benji's position is perfect, and now giving them a further advantage. The aggression, he's completely blind! Just pre-fired while sprinting forward. Eventually traded out, but now it's left all on Tombizz. Needs to go huge, and again, the trades are there for Heretics. And this is the thing, when they get in those advantages, when they get into those retakes, that's where this team have been sublime.
Well, that's it. We saw it on their attack as well on the previous map. It's the ability to group up as a team. Once they get on the same page and approach things together, that's nasty. They don't lose. They haven't been losing. 7-3 right now.
Just can't even see a thing.
And yeah, that's the thing to remember, right? On our broadcast, when a player gets flashed, you see the symbol on your screen, but you can still see. They can't see a damn thing. But he knows the map.
That's when you have confidence in your teammate. Yeah, like he throws a flash that blinds you completely, and you're like, he blinded the other guy. I'm going to keep going.
He got it. If you can't see me and I can't see you, that's a fair fight. Well, not if you're Wu, I suppose. It's still stacked towards him. Unbelievable debut from this guy. But yeah, it is against the Team Liquid that are showing some issues, showing some signs of falling apart here. And I like it. The same setup again. We said we might get it tested by Team Liquid. And it does look like there's going to be quite a bit of presence thrown towards here just from Kiko. There's the TP, the flashes, and the decoy. But it hasn't got them anything. It's a little bit preemptive. And if anything, a good play from Team Liquid early to rob them of some of that big utility.
Yeah, I definitely like the setup though. With the paranoia, it's very cool. But instead, they're going to try this again. Falling back. Rian's going for some of the same pre-fires into the site and utility to try and clear the backline. Same result. Same guy. It's going to cause them problems of getting into the afterplant. That removes the easier options. Utility be sending through. This time they're going to isolate Benji, though. A good adaptation from the side of Liquid to pick that man off. And Kiko starting to come alive a little bit in this round, but it could very easily fall apart. Even still, though, Boo on the other side. A 1v2, he was waiting in case they TP'd. Now he has a long road back into the round.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the rotation. What a play it would have been if they just repositioned, and many teams would. But now Team Liquid hunker down. 2 rounds left to play for, and this one could be so valuable for them.
Yeah.
At least put another on the board. Boo not looking to save this weapon. He wants to get in, get involved, but he's conscious. These players could be absolutely anywhere, and the time is ticking away. Bit by bit, slowly running down. He hopes he can catch them off guard, but as we can see, they're in good position, staring straight at him. And it's Nats to find that kill, putting another on the board for Team Liquid. The gap is now down to 3. It's manageable. They want to close out this last round, but put themselves in a good fighting spot for the next half.
Yeah, big round from Kiko especially. Finding them the openers definitely made a big difference to being able to get into the site because they struggled to clear Rians. And I also like the adaptation to isolate Benji. As said, last round, he gets to hold on to Shower's control, takes out Nats. They don't have him alive in the late round, which is where Nats a lot of the time will do his best work. Getting rid of Benji has been a struggle, but they succeeded in that last round. Early pop flash, same fight we saw in the previous, but this time they're going to force them back with utility and actually claim a lot of ground.
Oh, Heretics aren't giving it up, but, well, let's say without a fight, because Rians has gone down, and now Boo has to second guess sticking around that angle. The rotates begin. And look, I expect a gate crash to be left behind. I glance at the hood. Mini Boo has none left. No quick rotations for him. Woot's on his way over. Has Seekers, but he's not going to use them. They've heard the players coming. Oh, the knife. It's delaying some of the utility, leaving them in the open, and Kiko's easily able to punish. Spike plant could be undeniable this time, but I see Woot running around on this side angle. I'm getting worried. He has the info to play with. The wall will keep him locked out for just a moment longer, and the Tiger gives away his position. But they've all ran back. The post plant set up in full effect. The Thrash coming through. And that's actually going to delay them a little bit, cause some problems, or pull them into Woot, giving a chance for another kill. Team Heretics, though, in a 2 versus 4, both players in known positions. And Liquid shouldn't be giving this one away. That time already ticking quite quickly. Mini Boo, the last man standing, won't have a chance, and this one will be a 7-5 half, short of a miracle.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no time for them to play with. It will be 7-5. Good resurgence in the end from Liquid. This was a game, again, that looked like it was going to just completely slip away from them. But getting 4 of the last 5 rounds, seeing some of the individuals in the form of Nats wake up, Kiko wake up as well, and ultimately being able to deny Woot from just having an almost flawless half. He's still 16-7, an absurd stat line for someone playing their first match within the VCT. But either way, we now have to see if Liquid can continue that run. Especially with, they struggled, didn't they, in the pistol rounds. I don't think they've won one yet.
I think you could be right, yeah. I think last map, no, actually I'm certain last map was both pistols going towards Heretics, and I think a lot of that blame lands on the shoulders of Woot. This guy has been popping off, what, 2 out of 3 pistol rounds? He's got a 3K so far.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not quiet by any means. 16 and 7 right now. A chance here to extend that stat line from what we've seen in the past. Team Liquid on the defense, 3 players on B. Your Viper wall is coming into position to block out the retake on B to get you back in on the retake. But the fight has come in. A site, Minibu on his way through with the flash, and it's going to be Woot, the first to fall. He is finally dropped in a pistol. The return swings towards Liquid by a narrow margin. The low ammo catches Nats off guard. Boo, Rienz, and Benji Fishy full control over the site, and they're tucked in to play this one together.
Mystic's going to try to isolate some of the angles. Still got Shock Dart available for Rienz. A perfect flash from Young People. The trade is immediate, however, Enzo's there. The IGL leading by example. They've got themselves their first pistol under their belt, as it will be just 1 the difference now between them and Heretics.
Well, that's a much better look from this squad. And honestly, it just comes down to kill and loot. That's all you need to do. So much more in Enzo running through 14 HP and being able to find both of those kills. That could represent him with a little fire lit under. That was Enzo doubling up on his frag so far. The whole first half concentrated into just 1 round.
So you should play either an Odin or a Ghost.
I reckon he's got some karma to make up for honestly. Every smoke, just start popping shots through it, because he was domed on the way through a bunch of times with no vision.
Yeah, Rienz might have more kills through smoke than he has not through smoke.
That actually might be true.
There we go, though. Expectations for this round for Heretics, very low. And again, any damage they can do could be a problem. Kiko looking a little bit different on the cam.
Looking good, actually. All their players are looking good today.
They are. They're all. You would say you have a crush on all of them.
They're just so beautiful. Every single one. Well, opening shot from Kiko. Almost no reaction in his player cam, but he has managed to find one. As Team Heretics close the distance, and apparently you can hip fire this weapon. But it's in the hands of Kiko, you can at least. 3 players survive for Liquid, and the scoreline tied up 7-7.
Yeah, big round from him. Still a few weapons dropped along the way, so not going to be too clean, but enough that they'll still be coming into the next round, and this is where we expect to see a response from the side of Heretics. Rifles available. They've also got that dimensional drift online, which, especially going into the attack side, that's normally where you see the heavy value from it. You can clear a lot of angles for free, and especially when there's weaker weapons, that becomes incredibly important.
Well, off rip, we're going to have an ultimate out of Minibu by the looks of things, scouting out the A site, where previously you'll see a Brimstone combo with this on the ultimate. You don't have that in this composition. In fact, you don't have that on the server right now. Minibu's got a lot of space. Finishing out here, he spotted Nats. Nice easy kill, and a huge amount of control on the back of that ultimate. Team Liquid are locked out with Heaven control, and a super late flank coming through from Mystic. The man advantage might be even, but the weaponry definitely sits with the attackers for now, and tag onto Enzo. Drop down that little bit lower, easy to finish off. There's some damage done in return. We haven't seen the kills come through, and the wall bang is so good. 26 HP left on Minibu. A tag onto Boo as well. It's manageable. It's winnable on some level, but with Kiko going down, the odds definitely not in favor of Team Liquid. Mystic, the last man standing, and they'll find one, but the ammo is running dry, as were the chances for Liquid in that round. Lead stays in the hands of Team Heretics.
Yeah, it's the thing with this round that's actually a little bit more annoying is that I understand why Liquid went for it, because it was close. But if they hold for the exits there, I think Heretics are screwed, because you had Mystic on the flank, you had 2 players up above, like basically just holding them in to position. The only safe exit was actually through the showers. So obviously you go for it when you're that close in a position, but they could have done a lot of damage in that scenario, if not for a little bit of unlucky timing with the flash and different things like that. Nonetheless, we're still going to have them on a purchase again. We're going to see ourselves that Outlaw. And already, we're going to see Heretics looking to try and take some early control towards B-Long.
Looks like Liquid are responding in kind. Kiko making a slow play through Bathroom. At the same time, Benji Fishy sneaking his way through A. Got himself a nice position, opening pick onto Yumpy. All these players in Heretics hunkered down along. They've been spotted. I'm surprised Mystic sticking around for that fight. He has support of Enzo, but they've already lost Yumpy on this angle. I think you see them desperately wanting to recover it. Now, we mentioned Kiko lurking up through Bath earlier. Here's his reward, finally found, and found indeed.
They're getting a little bit nervous, getting some flashbacks to the last map. Even still, though, evening things up. Now, they've got really good positions. It just depends if they sort of walk around expecting this to be an A hit, but now with the utility going down, Liquid are actually in a very good spot. A wraparound already coming through from Enzo. They have to run through the Snakebite. Miniboo is going to be up for that first fight. He knows that one of them is, and actually Mystic goes down. Natch now under pressure. He's managed to find one, but it all comes down to this late lurk, this late rotation coming in from Enzo. The first is free. They know exactly where he is, but he also knows the same. Showstopper should be able to make things truly problematic for them getting a plant, but the fact is, look at where Boo is. He's gone.
Crept into the shadows for a plant. And right now, Team Liquid putting together the pieces. There we go. You see Boo try to go towards spawn. And his position here is key. You know Team Liquid are going to group up. He wants to force the fight as they rotate, but they've gone the other way. There'll be some time before he realizes that. It's nice and open at least. He could be in almost any position. Even Bath is a viable spot for this post plant. Not optimal, but something that they have to be worried about, and the time doesn't let them clear everything. There's the info. The first player dropped, and that could turn the tides in their favor. Enzo defusing halfway already. Is he ready for the Heaven Peak? In fact, he looked like he was going to stick it. He comes off for the fight that Boo happily obliges. Team Heretics extend their lead up to 2 and show no signs of stopping.
Yeah, I know. A huge Red Bull clutch coming out of the side of Boo as well. Like, this guy, it always seems to be like you put him in late round scenarios where he's able to just focus on his own individual ability and he pops off. And it's been a quieter, like, think back to the first weeks at kickoff. He was probably the best player of anyone in the league. Yeah. It's definitely been a little bit quieter since then. But these are the moments that sort of make big changes in what the match could become, because up until that point, the read from Liquid, fantastic. That late wraparound coming in from Enzo, perfect. The Showstopper being used as well because they knew they already had that hookah control. But it does have to be infuriating, because just isolated battles, not expecting him to be in that aggressive position, and because of that, Boo's able to win the round. And another one that Liquid are going to look at later and be like, we let that one slip.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of those in this series so far. They're going to need to tighten the ship if they're making it all the way to Lotus, to map number 3. Heretics on a likely 10-7 lead, currently sitting on 9, but they've got rifles, some ultis, and Team Liquid will come into this next round with nothing. They've called a timeout. I doubt that's necessarily to talk about round 17 strategy. It's more about the next one when they have the rifles in play, piecing together everything that's been going wrong so far. And keep in mind, because of the pause we saw earlier, this is the last pause for Team Liquid, the last chance to touch base with Emil and Bacon. And now we get back into things. 10 seconds till the barriers go up. You can see exactly what I was talking about. Team Liquid don't have the money. They're not going to force buy here. Thrash is online next round. Viper's pick could be there as well. Even if it does come online here, I doubt it's going to be used.
There.
And an aggressive wall used to slow the A push, and they're going to go walking through it on B with the flash, but Woot was ready for that. What a beautiful position, avoiding the flash and catching the players coming through on the other side.
It's a cheeky attempt from Nats, but it hasn't worked out. And again, just the patience of Heretics is what's paying off for them here. I don't know if he's going to get away with that orb. There was definitely players in a close enough vicinity, but not going to actually be fighting for it. And after they've heard every single player TP, it is no surprise that Heretics are going to go straight into the B site. Knowledge is power, and so is the afterplant. They're going to have it comfortably at this point.
Yeah, post-plant setup. Not even seeing the orb thrown on the spike. They don't expect Team Liquid to get anywhere near it. Post-plant instead is them looking for a couple more orbs. Woot just one away from getting his Seekers online. But you can see Team Liquid don't want to give anything away. The flash will reveal them. Give the information at least. But hunting it down is unlikely. I say that and I'm looking at Woot's body language. He's definitely looking to go forward. Flash in his hand. I wasn't expecting this, but here we go, and he's down just as quickly as he goes into the fight. But that does mean Seekers are online, a price they're willing to pay, a potential retrieved weapon for the side of Team Liquid. But that's even going to go running into the site to try and claim another victim. All three died a spike as intended, and 10-7. The scoreline we expected comes to fruition. This is where Liquid have their chance to start the comeback, and well, after this one, Tom, I don't see them getting another opportunity.
No, you've already got yourself a couple of ultimates available. This way you're going to have the rifles as well, but Heretics also just haven't really been letting things slip. Like, their early halves have been fantastic, their attack sides especially. Like, that's where I look at Woot and go, you got a new player, and maybe your defense can be a little bit more problematic, sure, or some of the setup utility. That hasn't been the case whatsoever. And now, looking like we might see some early aggression. In fact, they're going very quickly.
The flash and the return, though, 3 players through that wall. Liquid can be thankful that they left that angle before the re-aggression came through. Some space taken, but given right back up, and now Heretics look to do some of the same. One player spotted up top, revealed, at least by the information, by the comms, by the pings, and now Miniboo completing the teleport on the back of the flash. Yumpy was ready, but just not quick enough, and that's the story up against a player like Miniboo, hitting shot after shot. In comes the decoy, it's caught one, and then the peek. I thought it was about to come through. Miniboo's being very patient in this corner, had to give away his spot eventually, and he will go down for it, but it's still a 3v4. It's still a tough position for Liquid. They need a pick here and now, and there's setups on setups from Team Heretics. Oh! Actually, they've caught both on the way through. Boo now has to have a big play from up top. The spray from Woot is good, and he'll get more. Of course he will. Should have seen that one coming. With just 35 HP between them, Tom, Heretics survive and put 11-7 on the board.
Honestly, his headshot percentage might be 100. It might genuinely be 100. Like, it just the way that he's so patient in correcting back to the head. Like, he's not wildly spraying or panicking at any second. Like, again, this is a newly turned 18-year-old playing on the stage here for the first time ever. And he's so comfortable. The second look just corrects his aim. No pressure, no sweat whatsoever. And, well, you can understand the frustration.
I lip-read that. I don't know who else did, but I'll lip-read that one. And I think if I put myself in that seat, exactly the same reaction. What a frustrating way to lose so many of these rounds where you can do the right things, you can get yourself into advantageous setups, you can have these little post-plant plays, and yet still, on the way back in, Team Heretics have to rely on one thing, and it's not their setup. It's not, everything can go wrong. If Woot's still alive, the round is still winnable. This debut has been unbelievable, and just 2 rounds away from having a flawless record within the VCT for good old Woot.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty good, especially after back-to-back losses for Heretics, which I don't think many were expecting after what we saw from them at kickoff. Nonetheless, still got the Viper's Pit. Now, you have to bear in mind, Enzo in that retake did throw out Thrash. So they lost one of their ultimates, didn't save it for the next round because, well, they needed to take a risk. Still going to have weaponry here, but it's not the prettiest picture. And it does seem like there's a world where Heretics actually want to try and challenge into this Viper's Pit. In fact, they're going to throw out one of their own. We've seen this round already.
Yeah, we saw it with the shoe on the other foot. Team Liquid are familiar with this setup already, picking up Rienne's, but now they have to turn and face this pit. The flash is perfect. Yumpy couldn't see a thing. Kiko trying to thread the needle through, and he'll do well for one, but no chance of winning that fight up against Benji. Nats emerging from his pit at just the wrong time from what we can see. Woot is on his way around. He won't spot him. The pit's concealed Nats for a moment, but up top is Miniboo cleanly closing that out, and Woot finally gets his chance to strike. 12-7, a 5-round gap, and that is going to be a tough one for Team Liquid to bridge the gap on almost doubling the rounds flawlessly, and Team Heretics, they really do not look like there's a lot of weaknesses to exploit.
No, they haven't lost a buy round yet. I think that's what you need to say. Like, when it comes to this side of the map, it's been 5 attack rounds in a row. They've had a different sort of setup for each round, be it using the Viper's Pit in this one to get themselves into position, be it in the previous round using the Dimensional Drift to just give up everyone's information. Every ult they've used has been impactful. On the other side, unfortunately, it seems like it's been the opposite.
Oh, for Team Heretics as well, you know, this win would represent them getting to the league minimum playoffs possible, and playing like this, I'd say goddamn likely. Tiger goes through, Won't find too much. Hunter's Fury tagging Yuppie down to 2 with the spams as well. Barely holding on to life while the rest of his team falls. Mystic still has some life left in him though. Some HP to play with, but the players are on the way to the other side of the map. And this time, it's not stacked up by the defenders. They weren't ready for this. And even this late lurk out of Benji, it's barely a lurk. He's in his own spawn, but he knows there's a player around here. And he's ready to catch them on the rotate. Mystic goes back, but Spike is
spamming the 2 HP!
Miles away, Yumpie's down, and they're separated, they're fragmented, and they'll fall alone. Together they might stand. They were not united in this round. It's only Mystic 1 versus 4. Guardian in hand, opposite side of the map, Spike to be defused. And, well, he is taking the long way around, and he's just about being heard, I believe.
Yeah, Benji knows.
He knows.
Mystic doesn't really stand a chance. Yeah, I don't even know if he'll check this, it won't matter. Heretics, they have made it with their new player. Finally, they've got themselves their full roster. And you know what, Mitch? It looks pretty damn good. They've come in, schooled Liquid, and Woot. I don't know if you're going to get much better a debut than that.
You will struggle, I'll tell you that. This guy coming in, we have conversations about nerves, playing on this stage, in front of this squad, in front of the crowd, doesn't matter. Not to this guy. He looked absolutely sublime every step of the way. Supportive utility, sure. The KO, a lot of assists. It's hard to really measure KO assists and the impact of them, but I can say his impact on this series is not hard to measure. It's hard to miss, if anything, and it was hard for him to miss. That's a name we're going to remember and look forward to seeing on the server in the future. For Team Liquid, this is a big blow. A tough run now for them to make it to playoffs without that win under their belt. The next matchup will be against Gentlemates. I think they'll even have to rely on some other games going a certain way, and that's never a nice position to be in. I think
everybody in their group at the moment has 2 wins under their belt, and also other teams have much more matches to play.
Some
like
have
you've got
2 in a
couple
week,
of, exactly, double match
Vitality
weeks,
this week, for example.
PBL as well. So they're definitely not in the greatest of spots. For Heretics, though, they're not in a bad one. They've managed to get themselves back into position. They looked fantastic with Woot this week. The team overall played well. I think Miniboo back to form. As said, he had a bit of a rough week last week. That has changed massively. He looked unstoppable in map 1. This second map, he was there as well. So, I don't know. I think you may have not wanted to play Heretics before. You definitely don't want to play them now.
Oh, no. We hail players like Kiko. Even Mystic Enzo, they were shut down by Woot. I think it was a closer battle between Yumpie and Nats, but even then, it's not easy to deal with this guy from what we've seen. And if you go back and watch a lot of those fights, it's not like there was crazy supportive utility, like the whole team was geared up to getting in those kills. It's just the guy shooting heads, and it doesn't get much better than that when you talk about mechanical Valorant. Really excited for this Heretics. We already saw them with such a high skill ceiling, and now they can do so much more. To talk a little bit about that, we've got Boo down on the stage ready for an interview.
Right, Mitch and Tom, we do have Boo here on the stage for a quick interview. First of all, congratulations. It felt like the last couple of weeks have been a little bit rough for you guys. So what's been going on? How did you manage to come out here and win so dominantly?
Thank you. I think the main thing that we changed is it's our mentality. Like, I think last few weeks I was kind of leading the team in a wrong way. Right now we changed it a bit. And it worked. I don't want to say exactly what we changed, but I mean, we did change. Like, it's not just random that before we were like maybe struggling, now it's better. Like, we did address the issues we had, and yeah, it kind of showed.
How hard has it been to, like you said, you've had to also change a bit of your style, the way you're leading, but also integrate a new player into your roster as well? How long have you had to kind of make sure all this plan goes well?
If I remember correctly, Neil said we had 16 Scream games with Woot. So that's not a lot for a 7-map pool, but I mean, he's an incredible player, and we did play with him before. He still knows the guys, like there is a connection between us. Like the chemistry is there, but still, he still has a lot to do to catch up on our game plans, like in different maps. But in general, I think he's doing well, like you saw yourself.
Yeah, it was a crazy debut. I'm glad you mentioned the chemistry and the connection, because earlier when I spoke to him in an interview, he said the reason he joined Team Heretics is because he wanted to play with young players. Now, as someone who, you're still a young player, don't get me wrong, but maybe not quite as young as some of the other players on your roster. What's it like for you, you know, having these young players and Woot joining you too?
I think it's great. Like, they respect me a lot, and I'm grateful that they respect me. I think, like, that's the reason I'm like, I can lead well. And yeah, it's exciting to play with the players that are so hungry and so obviously skilled. So yeah, I think it's just gonna get better, honestly.
Do they make you feel younger as well? Do they make you feel like you're one of them?
No, they make me feel older just because of the gap.
Well, then how do you deal with that? I guess, you know, sometimes maybe you have to make a hard decision to tell them to chill, to relax, to behave.
I mean, I think that's the way it should work. Like, I am kind of like some uncle and they're the kids. But I think the dynamic we have between each other, when sometimes I'm a friend, but sometimes I'm like a higher senior figure, I think it's good for what we do.
Is there anything that you've taught them? You know, maybe things that you felt like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they don't know this. And for you, it's kind of like, wow, that's crazy. Like a boomer-zoomer difference.
Okay, it's not that big, okay? Like, I'm not like 35.
I'm not saying that, but I just mean like any kind of like slangs or something they're using or music they're listening to that you kind of feel
Yeah,
like,
I think the biggest difference is the music. Like,
yeah?
I'm listening for a little bit different music. But I think it's normal. We're different people. It's not just age, but different cultures. So, yeah, but I mean, we get along really well anyway.
In terms of, obviously had a great debut today, and as you said, he's still kind of getting used to the game plan that you guys do. Can we expect you guys to maybe be a bit different with Vuk compared to Paditek?
Yes, it was already planned. Something different, something spicy, but we didn't get to show it today, but it's still gonna be there in the future.
Oh, I love a bit of spice. And before I let you go, as you can see, Gentlemates and Vitality have taken the stage. Any predictions, Boo? I see Salah looking at you from off camera. Who do you think is gonna take this?
Vitality win, because we need them to win, because Gentlemates are in our group.
Oh, very diplomatic. You like that, Salah? Yeah, he's nodding. He likes it. Thank you very much, Boo. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week. As I said, we have a big matchup coming up. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, Vitality will be taking on Gentlemates.
Bro! What? Oh, ich hab mich ab. Oh, fuck. No! Woo, bro, you don't understand how happy I am because I whipped like a dog, bro. Yes!
I know a place that will break you into 1,000 pieces. Stay away from them. Stay away from Lorca, Paco, and Picasso. Don't ask about Lola. Ay, Caballo Grande. Ay, Dolor de Nieve. But in spite of everything, it occurs to you to visit Andalusia. Don't say I didn't warn you. Be careful of the Andalusian crush.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin, former professional Counter-Strike player and VALORANT coach. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle, you're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.